Hello everyone, today let's tackle about the learners in marginalized groups. Let's tackle what is marginalized group first. It is a different groups of people within a given culture, context, and history at risk of being subjective to multiple discrimination due to interplay of different personal characteristics or grounds, such as sex, gender, age, ethnicity, religion or belief, health status, disability, sexual orientation, gender identity, education or income, or living in various geographic localities. The term marginalization refers to individuals or groups who live at the margin of city. It is called social inclusion. Now let's tackle about marginalized in education. Marginalization education is a form of acute and persistent disadvantage rooted in underlying social inequalities. It represents a stark example of clearly remediable injustice, according to UNESCO. So, marginalization is the process of making a group or class of people less important or relegated to secondary position. Marginalization occurs when there is social discrimination. Discrimination may occur at two levels. There are individual and social. There are different types of discrimination. First is the gender discrimination or gender bias, which is if the boy student is more important than girl student. This is found as discrimination. Second is the religious or beliefs. Some students are discriminated because they are different religion. Some can't accept of what they are believing. Next is the illiteracy. Some students are discriminated because they don't know how to read and write. The next is the linguistic discrimination. Language discrimination occurs when a person is treated differently because of her native language or other characteristic of her language skills. For example, an employee may be experiencing language discrimination if the workplace has a speak English only, but her primary language is one other than English. The last one is the sexual orientation. This happens when someone treats you worse than other person in a similar situation because of your sexual orientation. For example, at a job interview, a woman makes a different reference to her girlfriend. The employer decides not to offer her job even though she is the best candidate they have interviewed. How do we get rid of marginalization? First, let's start paying attention to what they say. Most people already know to avoid generalization and stereotypes, but most of us are still guilty of using language that causes offense even if we don't mean to. Commonly used words like gay, crazy, or lame are actually exclusionary, offensive, and derogatory. The next one is be willing to accept correction. Even the most well-meaning people make mistakes and have misunderstandings about others. When someone points out your errors, offer a sincere apology and be ready to learn from the experience. It will earn you much more respect than responding with anger. The next one is be intolerant or intolerance. The risk of staying silent is sending the message that discrimination and intolerance are values that you are willing to tolerate. The next one is seek out marginalized voices and perspective. Go online and look for activists, bloggers, authors, artists, and other voices from marginalized communities. Their personal stories and experience will greatly inform your point of view. If you have the opportunity to spend time with someone from a marginalized group, your most important job is to listen to them and learn. The last one is to educate your own community. Your voice is most effective within your own group since you are in the best position to confront its stereotypes and misunderstanding, some of which you have you may have overcome yourself. So you also have a special access to them as an audience that others communities do not use it. Now let's tackle about marginalization and inclusion. So according to Ban Ki-moon, the youth are often at the front line to stand against discrimination, inequality, and marginalization. The youth are a force for transformation. He also stressed out that how marginalization is defined varies from one context to the other, and people may have varied perspective on who they think it's being marginalized. For example, if you are a person with a disability and you are denied access to education because teachers do not know how to accommodate your needs, so you are marginalized. Now, what causes marginalization? So it was highlighted that marginalization is caused by a lot of factors. One's paradigm, prejudices, and bias to a certain group or sector in society contribute to the issue of marginalization. For example, people discriminate a juvenile youth because they think he or she does not deserve to be included or to be part of society. One participant strongly stressed that one prejudice and biases are transmitted from one generation to another. Now, what can young people do to address marginalization? So it was empowering to observe that the participants consistently recognized the fact that they, as young people, can contribute to addressing the issue of marginalization in society. One concrete way is through social enterprises. There are young people in the province who mobilize poor communities by allowing them to create their own livelihood programs using indigenous and raw materials. To sum it up, the best way you can help end exclusion and isolation is to work on being a strong ally. That means educating yourself on the privileges your own group enjoys to better understand the perspective of members of marginalized communities. It had been an enriching experience to listen to what young people had to say about marginalization and inclusion. It has provided me an interesting perspective about the issue. Furthermore, I believe that the event has affirmed Ban Ki-moon said, yes, the youth are often at the front line to stand against discrimination, inequality, and marginalization. The youth are a force for transformation. The challenge now is to encourage more young people to join the bandwagon of young advocates to work together with and for the marginalized sectors. As the acronym T means, together everyone achieves more.